It's August 6th, and it's about the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I just woke up, had a couple hours sleep. I put my phone in the fridge for the first time because it was getting too hot. Woke up a couple hours later, it was nice and cool. Still works, everything's fine. Let's talk about my goals. So my goals in life, if I can manage to get about 30 grand, I'd have my debts paid off. 25 grand, I have my debts paid off. I got about 8 grand on my credit card. I got about 8 grand on my tuition, my student loan. I got about 4 grand on my Walmart. And I got about 3 grand on my debit Visa. All debt. What can you do? Nobody's hiring. I've been on Work BC for a while now. Nobody's hiring. So, nobody hires, you gotta use your available storage. Just pay it back later. I'll give you guys some advice though. Some helpful tips. For about every 8 grand you have, about 21% to 23% interest is always about $250. So every 8 grand at 20% interest, always about $250. So you can get about 8, 16. You just make sure you pay $500. That's all interest, right? So my money's already been paid. It's been going over though for interest. So, I hope you guys all survive. One thing I always think about is surviving. My mom's starting to take trips to Fiji. She doesn't want to give me any money. And there's no jobs available. So what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck with $200. 3 weeks goes by, I can't do anything. I gotta eat like lots of bread and stuff like that, I guess. I hope you guys all survive because I don't see survivability in this country. Let me give you an example why. If my mother weren't going to work, my entire dad's family abandoned me. And my dad's unemployed, and he won't let me live in his house or give me any money. And he's been unemployed for 4 decades, my dad. So, I'm kind of stuck. I'm without any help. I'm without any neighbors. I didn't have the compassion of a family man growing up. I didn't have the compassion for my family. That's why I didn't make any friends. That's why as soon as high school ended, I had no friends. So just make sure that you guys have enough to survive. Don't. I'll tell you some advice. Don't smoke. Don't drink alcohol. Don't do drugs. Live a clean life. I always lived a clean life. That's why I could always run fast and I was a strong guy. But nobody, girls didn't really care about that. But it was good for me. The fitness was good for me. But then what happened was, if nobody vouches for you, then you'll run across somebody like the psych ward guy. If nobody vouches for you and you start acting odd, like you're flinching in your stomach, or you're flinching in your throat, your Adam's apple, your chops, you just feel like letting loose, you feel like screaming, you feel like taking your shirt off, and like walking around with no shirt. Somebody like the cops, somebody like the psych ward will come and pick you up. They always say watch out for strangers, right? See, the psych ward is this guy, this doctor, that'll just tell you you're nuts. And then you have to go along with it just by their word. The Germans say so. We have to take their medicine, that's why. Just because I say you're nuts, you are. You got that? That's what the German psych ward is. I tell you who the fuck you are. That's what the German psych ward is. Fuck you. Somebody tells you something like that? Let me give you some advice. Anybody who traps you, you fucking stab them immediately. I made a mistake. I didn't attack my doctor. But anybody who traps you in any sort of system, they're going to speak very nicely to you. See, you can't trust everybody. Just because they speak nicely to you, it doesn't mean they're there to help you. I was the fastest kid in school. Nobody vouched for me. I ended up going to the psych ward right after school, right after the end of school. The psych ward made my 180-pound stomach go to 370. After all the eating too, but my my stomach, it shows that there's some sort of tampering. It shows that there's some sort of tampering, because for some reason my body, like my legs, my hips, my thighs, my biceps, my forearms, my shoulders, everything is normal except for my stomach. So I've seen pictures of this. Like Bill Gates, he goes to Africa and he starts giving these kids medicine. And all of a sudden, they look like they're like something happened to them. All of a sudden, they're these really skinny kids, and for some reason, their fucking stomach is big. These are the same kids with no food at all, and all of a sudden, their stomach is enormous. So anybody who talks too nicely to you, make sure you stick with your friends too, because one day, what's going to happen is German psych ward's gonna pick you up. Because obviously the Jewish cops work along with the German psych wards. Right, Officer Lipinski? So you start fighting with your step-parent to say, get the fuck out of here, because we didn't ask to know you, we don't want to know you, we don't want to live with you. Lipinski's not gonna ask a single question. Hey kid, are you okay? What's going on, kid? Can you explain the situation? Kid, you live here, right? Are you a citizen here, kid? No, Lipinski's not going to ask all that. Lipinski's going to say, go to the German psych ward. Go to the gas chambers. Because I'm a faggot Jew, right? I'm a fucking Jew. I don't like it when I have to go to the fucking gas chambers. So I'm gonna fucking tell you to go there. Fucking aren't I smart? That's why the Jews are fucking rejects.